Welcome to the studio. Tony, I cannot wait to present you to our audience. I'm super excited. I've been trying to get you here because you are so busy for a very long time. And thank you, God. Now is the day when we have the honor and the pleasure and the opportunity to present to our listeners, to present to our audience, the one and only, our regional manager, Tony Piscopio.
Thank you, Olga. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Tony, I would like to dive straightforward into how you're doing it all. You are such a master in managing 7 offices, and I can't even imagine how you do it. It must be a secret sauce. So let's dive straight into what motivates you, what gets you excited, and what drives you to run the show that you do with such significant, beautiful Long Island luxury division and the operations that you do on day-to-day.
Olga, first of all, I'm blessed to have a great management team and admin staff, which I couldn't survive without them, so I can't take all the credit. The support from them is very important. And also the support of the agents. The agents are very responsive. I speak to agents one-on-one on a daily basis. It's not that, you have this title, you're an executive manager, an upper tier management with the company, and you're not accessible. It's just the opposite. And I think that's a big part of the success of this region and the success of our offices.
Well, Tony, a lot of agents lately are reaching out to me and they're asking questions about Douglas Elliman. They're asking questions, what is it like right now during the markets that's shifting? And we all know that the market is kind of like taking a turn right now, hopefully in the best way. But for those that are preparing very well, and for those that have inventory in their pipeline, how do you see the market performing with this type of agents that's very well trained under Douglas Elliman umbrella, so well presenting themselves from the marketing perspective? How do you see the market doing with those agents in your office?
Well, first of all, there's nothing wrong with the market. The market is fine. It's the inventory levels that are a challenge. Those agents that have inventory, most of the time, when it's properly priced, it's flying off the shelf. That hasn't changed. Lines out the door, multiple calls. Then you're always going to have inventory that's going to take a little longer to sell depending on the price point. But what we are seeing now is that we're starting to see the luxury markets changing a little bit. We're not there yet, but they're starting to go in that direction, which is an excellent situation right now for us.
Opportunities.
Absolutely. So agents with inventory are being very careful on how these properties are marked, how these properties are marketed.
Right.
Exactly. So with Douglas Elliman, you have to remember, we have so many resources. And the agents that are utilizing those resources have the most success.
Excellent. Would you say that the market up or down, or is it still very busy? I mean, let's talk reality. The other day I was trying to put up the sign and because we have so much going on, we had to move things around to get the signs installed. So that just shows me that you guys are super busy, and Roslyn office specifically, right? You always talk about statistics.
Mm-hmm.
So how's Roslyn office performing in comparison to many other offices within Douglas Elliman?
Well, last month we took a lot of listings, quality listings. I believe half of them were already sold.
Wow.
So it's been very good the last month or so, and that's why I said that, the first few months of the year were always challenging. But remember, transactions are way down. And now you have to fight and claw to make business. And the agents that are doing that are being very successful right now. There is an inventory glut, as we know, but the market is fine in most areas. There are some areas where the market is down. But the fact of the matter is that in most areas, the market is good because when inventory comes on, it's flying off the shelf. So, and the buyer pool is enormous right now.
So speaking of the perfect price, you would say?
Yes.
Starting off at the right price?
Absolutely.
What advice would you give to agents that are maybe potentially looking to make a transition? And I know a lot of my friends that reaching out to me, they're going through this emotional, mental state where they're having a battle, whether I should make that move, whether brand really helps them, whether or not being with a company that does a lot of trainings and a lot of support, right? I could speak for myself that without trainings and support, I would probably already shift into a completely different industry. But given the fact that you guys are doing so much, how do you see agents leveraging in Douglas Elliman the support that you guys provide with Elliman?
Well, it's a great question because it trickles down from our DE University and DE training, which is, as far as I'm concerned, the best in the industry. Jeffrey Scott Stanton does a wonderful job with getting the agents engaged. And then that trickles down to the office level. I'm coaching on a daily basis. I'm training on a daily basis. And I don't know anything, so I don't know everything, but I'm training as well. So, it flows all the way down from our vice president of training all the way down to management and then down to the agents. But you bring up a very good point because one of the biggest problems right now that I'm hearing from speaking with agents, because I'm recruiting on a daily basis, is support level.
Mm-hmm. Management.
People feel like they've been abandoned now.
Right.
See, when business was fantastic and deals were falling in people's laps over the last couple of years, it was easy. Now, since it's become a little bit more difficult, some agents are having difficulty with obtaining business.
Right.
So I think that's the biggest complaint that I hear right now, as well as reach. Obviously, Douglas Elliman's reach is worldwide, right? And that's tremendous right now because you need as much reach as possible. Even though the market is doing well, you still need that reach. You still have to get the most amount of people through the archways of that property to get the most amount of offers, which is what's in the client's best interest. And I think that's super important right now. And a lot of companies, look, I'm not one to knock our competitors, and I never will. But when you look at a brand like Douglas Elliman, everybody knows it. You say, "Oh, where do you work?" Douglas Elliman. Wow, Douglas Elliman. And that's the response.
We joked, right?
We joke. I call it the 5,000-pound gorilla because that gorilla is always standing behind us and everything that we do with an abundance of resources that is just phenomenal. And we're taking it to the next level right now.
Well, Tony, I have to tell you, I'm super excited every time I go on listing appointments. And even at the time when I'm competing with other brokers locally, when I walk into the homeowners places, whether it's apartment, whether it's a condo, whether it's house, whether it's commercial, doesn't really matter. I could tell you that I feel like we are the Bentley of real estate.
Absolutely.
And when you know so well who the company is, who stands behind you, how do you maneuver your marketing? How do you present it to the marketplace? How does homeowner benefit by listing with us, right? Because in the end of the day, it's all about the money. It's all about us being able to nurture those relationships and really maneuver the situation where we need to stay very wide awake to keep an eye on the market daily. How's the market performing overall? Like right now, let's say it's summertime. The rate's a little high, but still we're getting the listings and we're still doing the open houses and we're still not taking like 3 months vacations because the market is kind of like cooling off a little bit, but we're still trying to get opportunities out there. We're still trying to bring a lot of inventory. We're still trying to bring more value to sellers. And this is one of the reasons why I started doing this podcast, right, Tony? I told you, lock me up in here for a day or two and I'll find a way how to come up with content and really market and leverage and advertise my sellers' properties because that's what I love doing. What would you say the experience of agents overall, generally, when they come into Douglas Elliman, do they usually stay around for too long? Do they usually open their own companies? Do they usually go elsewhere? Do they loyally stay for years? Because I've seen some people that's, some big names in Hamptons, for example, Manhattan. I mean, we have so many great agents that are even on $1 Million Listing New York show, right? Let's talk about that, where we have so much publicity. We have so many celebrities that are part of our circle and our clients. Let's dive deep into the reach.
Sure. So first of all, Olga, I don't know if you're aware, but we give out a lot of awards every year, and one is called the Lifetime Achievement Award. We have so many agents that have been here 20, 30 years. Just the loyalty is unbelievable. And remember something. We have the most $1 million producers in the industry. These agents can go work anywhere. You can sell real estate anywhere. But if you want to build your business, this is where you have to be at Douglas Elliman. That's number one. So as I said before, these agents, they can go and work any place they want. But they choose here, and why? The thought leadership in this company with the executive management team from Howard M. Lomber all the way down is phenomenal. Scott Durkin, just all the way down the line, whether it's technology, whether it's training, it doesn't matter. Whether it's local management, whether it's regional management, whether it's the CEO of a region or the chief operating officer, whatever it is, the thought leadership of this company is like no other. And I feel that's a big part of the loyalty to the brand, because people feel comfortable knowing that the decisions that are made from the top are for the agent and for the public, for the client. So, it's very interesting. A lot of conversations that I have with agents that have been here a long time. Now, I've been in the business 23 plus years, going on 24 years. And, some of the agents that I started with are now in management positions. And it's very interesting to speak to them about how the industry has changed over time. But that's a big part of Douglas Elliman and the reason why agents, especially top agents, stay with this company and the longevity of staying with this company.
Well, Tony, you have recruited some of the top producers, and you've seen them grow from pretty much babies into like this big celebrities now, right? How do you help them get to this level?
It's interesting because as big as they are and as much money as they're making, we still have this face-to-face
Belly to belly.
conversation. That's right. And that's the respect that we have for each other. I'm very proud of that. I can't take all the credit, but I have to say they followed the plan. They did all the work, but they'll still pick up the phone and call me, knock on my door. Hey, Tony, can I talk to you about this new listing I'm getting? One of my top agents just brought in a $10 million listing, and we strategized for 2 or 3 days for about an hour or two a day here and there, back and forth. Hey, let's think about this. All right, let's circle back and talk about this. How are we going to handle it? How's the marketing going to go? Specialized photography, drone, all of that. So as big as the agent is, as much money as they make, we still have that respect for each other. And they still have the respect to come to me and not because that they're embarrassed or anything like that. They're coming for advice. And that's what really keeps me going and propels me in this position. I always needed a challenge in life, from when I owned my businesses to when I got into real estate. And it's a challenge every day. And that's what's exciting about this business. I love real estate. And I love these people. I love these agents. They're family. The employees, they're family. We're all family. So that's how it's grown over the years. Remember, when I started with Douglas Elliman, we had, a few offices in Manhattan, Nassau, Suffolk, and that was it. And now look at us, where our clients are now, whether it's LA, whether it's Miami, whether it's Vegas, whether it's Connecticut, whether it's Boston, wherever, whether it's in the DC area, we are going to be where our clients are. And that's why we are a true luxury brokerage.
Well, the brand itself is so unique that I remember how you and I first met. There was an opportunity to do the expansion of Roslyn office, right?
That's right.
And I had this client who was thinking about selling his commercial spot, right? So we invited some of the top decision makers, and you were part of that meeting. And that's how we first met belly to belly. And I will never forget that day. It will be in my mind forever. And when COVID hit, and there were so many regulations, what New York City could do and couldn't do, and we could show properties and couldn't show properties, very quickly I figured out, you know what? I'm licensed in New York State. And so therefore, I will figure out how I'm going to expand myself and my business and my opportunities to go from being in Queens until Long Island market, right? And so this was the moment when I reached out to you, and you opened your arms and you welcomed my family, and you knew exactly who we were, and the whole family is involved. And I just can say thanks so much for being who you are. You are an amazing manager. You bring so much value. You are easily accessible. And I can begin to tell you how excited I am to expand more and more on my reach on Long Island market. And we do get listings here and there monthly that's expanding the reach of where we are. But I think expanding into Long Island market helped me personally to also grow my Queens business as well. Because our Queens buyers, who are also sellers, so they're selling their properties and they're moving to Long Island, and they are in a position where they just want to constantly go back and forth to reinvest, right? And we want to, like you said, be that reach, be that opportunity, be that holding hand for our clients to be there for them at any time that they are ready, willing, and able to make a move.
Funny that you should bring up that first time that we met, with that property where I was called to ask my opinion on the value of a property. And again, this is the beauty of Douglas Elliman because we own all of our own offices. We're not a franchise. And the teamwork where I knew of you. I knew you were a top agent, but I didn't know you personally. I didn't know your family. And again, this is the beauty of our company because the teamwork allows us to call any region. It could be LA. We just sent a referral out to LA this morning. A fairly big listing. And it's nice to know that you can call the agent. Your call's going to get picked up. And this is no different where you made a phone call and said, look, I'm not familiar with this marketplace. I need somebody who is an expert in that marketplace. And again, we own all our own offices. So, if there was a franchise there, you're competing against one franchise against another, whether it's the same name company. So that's a big part of Douglas Elliman is the teamwork and that willingness to help, whether it's Manhattan. We sent another referral down to Palm Beach recently, and I guess we could talk about that maybe in another segment, which is a phenomenal story. The relationships that were made and sales that are still going on from those original sales.
Absolutely.
So that's one of the big positives about being with a brand like Douglas Elliman and the connections that are made and the help that's provided and the teamwork that's provided. Because look, we're all a team.
And referrals that are floating around.
Absolutely.
I mean, we closed last year a very big deal. There was also part of Douglas Elliman, and John Wilson was an amazing agent to refer this deal to.
Phenomenal.
And this is what we do. I mean, talking about referrals, I had a client who called me the other day and she says to me, Olga, if I could speak to anybody about my next chapter, I think it should be definitely you because you did such a phenomenal job when we first bought our first property. So she's moving to Texas. Within seconds, I reached out to all the right people. And within minutes, she's got directed to the most amazing, the most productive broker that I know that she's in great hands. And this is what it's all about. People need to understand we're not just real estate company. We're not just realtors. We are the nurturing people that are humans.
That's a great point.
That are guiding, directing, and really making sure that our clients are making the right decisions. And there is somebody there to navigate them and to give them the right direction to where to call, who to talk to, and what to do next. We are overseeing pretty much the whole entire world, we could say, right?
Right.
And we have Knight Frank that is part of our partnership with Global Networking.
It's a true partnership. It's not an affiliation. It's a true partnership, which makes it unique.
Absolutely. So this is how you get a lot of luxury transactions move around.
Absolutely.
Well, Tony, Douglas Elliman is super unique, as we all know, and we are continuing to prosper and grow as a company, as individuals, with all the trainings, with all the coaching that we get to experience on a daily basis. And to be honest with you, it's not enough times in the day that we could all continue to invest in ourselves and leverage all the opportunities that we have within the company. And I thank you very much for that opportunity of being with this company that's continue to letting me grow to become the person that I am today. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Keep watching, subscribe to our channels, and I cannot wait about our next topic. Stay tuned, everybody. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Olga.